Hello, this is Craig Resnick coming to you from the 2018 ARC Advisory Group Orlando Forum. With me today is my special guest, Jason Andersen, Vice President, Business Line Management from Stratus Technologies. How you doing today, Jason?
Doing great, Craig. Nice to see you again.
You know, you accomplished a lot in 2017, and based on those accomplishments, what are some of the key initiatives you have for 2018 to kind of, bring the journey further forward?
So I'd say in 2016 was when we really started to sit down and think about really doubling down on edge and industrial technologies. You know, Stratus had been in the space now for about 10 years, but in 17, as we started to move from 16 to 17, we put a lot of emphasis on our existing platforms in terms of go-to-market, awareness, partnerships. But in parallel, as we were going through 17, we were working towards a new platform that we designed, built specifically for the edge, we call ZTC Edge. We announced it yesterday here at the ARC Forum. We're really excited about it because it takes all of the best kind of technologies and ideas from our edge business and really wraps it into something that's specifically tailored towards the OT professional.
You know, edge has been really hot at this forum, and I know you just bring it up. But how does the edge affect your company in specific?
Well, it's really interesting. The reason we decided to double down on edge a couple years back was that we had, at Stratus, had hit a tipping point. After being in business for about 40 years, we saw for the first time in our history the business move to the majority, and it's a slight majority, but nonetheless, it is a majority of our new installations were going outside of a traditional data center or cloud environment. So we said, wow, geez, 50% or more, actually about 55% of our business now is at the edge. And that made us realize that maybe it was time for us to really double down, if you will. And so it's been a profound change for us, and it's been quite successful so far. We're really happy about it.
You know, we all know probably one of the biggest nemesis for all of customers is unplanned or unscheduled downtime. So tell us a little bit about how your solutions help to eliminate or reduce unplanned or unscheduled downtime.
Well, that's what we've been in the business of since 1980. We build mission critical servers and infrastructure, and we have unique approaches and architectures in order to support that. All the way from, we'll call it mainframe class style operating systems, right, which is more of our payments processing line. But at the edge, what we're finding is that we have a system that really combines both the delivery of a high availability architecture in a very small footprint, but it also is backed by a service mechanism that allows the system, as the system protects itself, we're able to work with them on a service side and replace the system, diagnose, troubleshoot, and fix the system, all without any IT intervention, if that's what you needed, say, a remote site.
You know, one of the challenges that companies have today is, they have all this data, and they need products like analytics solutions, prescriptive analytics, for example, predictive analytics. So what are you doing to incorporate analytics into the Stratus Technology solutions?
So what we do with software technologies like that is we partner with companies. So for instance, in the SCADA space, we have partnerships with the top 5 or 6 SCADA and HMI producers in the world, and we go to market with them. We do have a couple new analytics partnerships we've announced in the past year. Notably, we work with Foghorn now, so we've done a lot with them. And what we do in these partnerships is we sit down with the software provider and really work through what the types of, let's call them sweet spot configurations would be, as well as any functional or feature set we need to build into it. So we really kind of tailor our configurations, especially for the new ZTC line, around that. In terms of analytics, I'd say that ZTC Edge, our new line, is the first deliverable, the 100 series, which is coming out in a couple months, is built for real-time analytics use cases. But we're starting to see that analytics is a very broad space. There's a lot of different needs. So I'd say that probably our next deliverable will be one very tailored towards larger analytics sets versus kind of the smaller real-time type of stuff.
You know, speaking of analytics, obviously that's part of innovation. And we know how with short product life cycles today and just the speed and rapid adoption of some of the new technology, how important innovation is. So what is Stratus Technologies doing as far as, from its R&D budget to kind of keep that pipeline of products flowing?
Well, I mean, perfect example is the new line. Obviously, it's the first time we've come out with a completely new from the ground up product line in quite some time at Stratus. So we started investing in R&D pretty heavily at the beginning of 2017 to get this to market. The other thing we're doing, though, that's a bit interesting is that we have always focused ourselves on the, I would call it the server side of the equation, right? Making sure the server's up and running, making sure that things are well supported and we're giving people world-class support. What we're going to be doing as we move forward with the new lines is really focused on a more holistic approach to infrastructure, where we really bring together the software and the service to the hardware platform. In fact, the hardware platform is off-the-shelf technology now. It's not even, there's no proprietary bits. You could go buy this yourself, but really the magic sauce is built into our software, which has all the right telemetry for self-healing and predictive maintenance on its own. We're also going to be venturing into providing a much more secure and hardened platform in 2018 and into 19. So I would expect that you're going to see us move the type of value and reliability for the system all the way through the stack to the point where, ideally, we basically are making a very consumer type of oriented system versus an IT oriented system. It's kind of the long-term event horizon for ZTC.
One of the issues we have in industry is with baby boomers retiring, which puts more weight on the automation suppliers and the enterprise suppliers to support the customers. How are you helping your customers in that regard?
Oh, we're doing quite a bit. I mean, we already have a pretty extensive service backbone where we can, like I said, the systems, we've designed it a little differently in the sense of the systems, when they begin to notice that they have problems, because we build that intelligence into the systems, what happens is it'll say, hey, geez, I think I'm having a problem. And generally it'll take two actions. The first thing is it'll fail the application over to its redundant node so the application stays safe and that there's no interruption to the process. The second thing is it initiates a call into our service team. And it kind of says, hey, I'm having a problem. Let me tell you a little bit about the problem I'm having. What should we do? In some cases, what we're going to have to do is escalate that to another partner. So for example, if we're starting to see something funny on the operating system side, let's say the Windows guest is acting weird and we're finding an issue, maybe it requires a patch or something. Well, we work with Microsoft to figure out what the right patching is, and then we help the customer test that and get it back in line. The flip side of it is that if it's a system problem and it's like, say, bad memory or something like that, we'll just ship you a new piece of equipment. In the new line, we actually, since it's a fanless solid-state device, an industrial computer, we'll just ship you a whole new computer. They only weigh 10 pounds. It's pretty easy to FedEx those. In the case of some of our other lines, like FT Server, we literally will ship you a new server blade chassis, if you will, and it gets put in, we call it a customer replaceable unit. So we have a lot of different ways we do service today, and we're, like I said, our goal is to continue to adapt, evolve, and even further automate the service experience for the customer. We think that takes the pressure off both the OT and the IT person because we're basically offloading those tasks to us. Long term, right now we're kind of monitoring and taking care of the systems and kind of keeping them out of danger, but what we want to get to is a more proactive type of service as well, where we're doing things like automating and patching processes or things of that nature. Whitelisting's another one we're looking at. So,
you had mentioned earlier about partners, and we all know how important the partnerships are today and creating that whole ecosystem. So, give us a little example of what Stratus does as far as how do you view partners and what type of partnership programs do you have?
Oh boy. Well, let me start by saying 100% of my edge business is driven through partners. So we don't go direct in the edge space. Our partnerships take on a number of different angles. I would say that here in the United States, our most robust partner channel in edge is through the distributor networks of companies like Rockwell or Schneider Wonderware, or I guess now Aviva. We work pretty deeply with those folks on two levels. The first is they assemble the solution. So they take our technology, they'll put it with software technology, sometimes other software technologies that they've designed and built themselves or things like that. And then they also help on the sales and marketing side of things. What they're ending up doing, though, is really influencing the systems integrators. And we find that from a kind of a customer technical influence, access to decision makers, those types of things, we're building more and more routes and activities with the system integrator and engineering community. Our new product line literally was, I would say we had a lot of co-conspirators in the process, and those were largely distributors from the GE Rockwell ecosystems. And I would also say they did a fantastic job of kind of giving us the insights that we needed to kind of come up with something that really hit a big sweet spot for the industrial control space. I would also say that We also have some pretty exciting partnerships outside the United States, which are much more OEM-like, where we're completely embedded in this solution. For instance, like the EasyPass toll system in China runs on our technology. In some ways, that solution influenced what we did with ZTC as well. So we have a lot of different types of partnerships depending on where you are in the world.
That's great, Jason. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And this is Craig Resnick coming to you from the 2018 ARC Advisory Group Orlando Forum. Thanks. Have a great day.